The month of December 1941 marks the United States' entry into the Second World War because of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now that day over Hawaii there were 414 Japanese aircraft, but this little film is going to focus on the two American pilots who are also up dogfighting the Japanese that day as well.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Hawaii, 1940, pre-World War II, at least for the Americans at the time. You see, Hitler's war over in Europe was not really any of America's business, as we were remaining neutral during this time. Besides, that war was several thousand miles away, far from the peace and beauty of Pearl Harbor. And it's because of this and the fact that the nearest Axis power, Japan, was 3,900 miles away, that America essentially put all of our eggs, our fleet, into the one basket of Pearl Harbor.
From the NBC newsroom in New York, President Roosevelt said in a statement today that the Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, from the air. I'll repeat that. President Roosevelt says that the Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii from the air.
That morning, 414 Japanese airplanes went up into the sky, and it would be a suicide mission to try and go up against that, which is exactly what two American pilots tried to do in their P-40s. Kenneth Taylor and George Welch were two American pilots who were actually able to get airborne that morning to try and fend off the massive attack on Pearl Harbor. That morning, although Ken and George were both outnumbered by a factor of 1 versus 207, they were still able to take down roughly half a dozen Japanese aircraft. Sadly, the efforts of these two brave pilots were sort of in vain because as soon as the smoke had settled, it was revealed that most of the US Pacific Fleet had been completely depleted.
Today we remember the servicemen, the brave and the innocent, who gave their lives to keep us free. The men of Pearl Harbor knew the things worth living for were also worth dying for. Principle, decency, liberty, truth. We can never properly repay these men. What we can and must do is honor them, remember them. Remember, too, the lesson we learned at Pearl Harbor, that the America will always stand fast so that human liberty can stand tall.
The bravery exhibited by Kenneth Taylor and George Welch on the morning of December 7th would go down in the history books as one of the bravest things ever done in military aviation. Both these pilots would go on to receive nominations for the Medal of Honor, and they would wind up getting the Distinguished Service Medal.